again. Hold on.
Okay. Hi, folks on the live stream.
Okay. Here we go.
Okay. 10 for, okay, that says it did it. Let's. There we go. Share those.
There. Look, it works. Remember, I told you I had an issue a while back that I couldn't zoom in and out my camera using the controls.
And I see you zooming.
Yes, I managed to figure out. Well, it took. I had to do a hard reset of the computer for that function to start working again.
Weird.
But there were instructions somebody online had posted that showed how to do it.
Those helpful online people.
Yep.
They help with everything, except when they destroy everything, which is annoying when that happens.
Well, that can be a problem.
Right. Shall we start?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Here it comes. Welcome to Curmudgeon's Corner for Saturday, December 20th, 2025. It's just after 18:15 UTC as we're starting to record. I'm Sam Mentor. Yvonne Bose here again. Hello, Yvonne.
Hi. High. Low.
Yes. Yes.
Medium.
High, low, sideways, up, down.
Sideways. Yes, sideways. Sideways.
Okay, well, before I forget and before I do anything else, I am once again going to promote the Google Doc for questions for our 2026 prediction show, which, if I look at the calendar, will probably be next week.
Well, yeah, we gotta.
We gotta work out some scheduling, right?
Yeah,
it could be.
Yes.
It could be 2 weeks from now if Yvonne has to do the show the 29th, 30th, or 31st instead of the 27th. Or if, but this is going to get complicated. Yvonne and I will figure it out offline. I meant to do it before we got to recording, but, I didn't wake up till 10 minutes before the show.
And you had some technical difficulties.
And I had some technical difficulties. So, whatever. We'll figure it out. But the last show of the year will be predictions, and the first show of next year will be reviewing our last predictions. And as of this moment, nobody has put in even a single suggestion into that Google Doc. So let me give you the URL again. It's tinyurl.com/ccpred2026. If anyone has any problems getting into it, please let me know.
And it's not a Curmudgeon's Corner Predator. No, it's predictions. Okay? Because it sounds like, because CC Pred sounds like it's some kind of predator. To me. First thing I think.
So don't be scared of it. The doc is not going to come out of your screen and eat you or something.
We'll try not to do that. We're not that technically capable.
I remember the last couple of years, so I'm not surprised that there is nothing in this doc. The last couple of years, there was nothing in this doc until a couple days before we were going to do the recording.
I mean,
and then all of a sudden people put it.
People are consistently. We seem to have a group of procrastinators.
Yes. And I guess that comes from the top.
Yes.
As most cultural things do.
Yes.
So anyway, we got our sections in this doc: politics, international, economy, technology, hodgepodge. For some reason, I have politics in a different font than others. I should fix that.
Is it
Fixing it now.
Calibri?
No, the whole thing is an Arial, but let's fix that too. Let's that you got Calibri. Ah man, it's not a choice in Google Docs.
Oh,
Calibri's not a choice
fucking
in Google
Google
Docs.
Docs.
We could do Comic Sans.
There you go. That's probably more appropriate.
Comforta. Com, com,
Comforta.
Comforta is. Let's put it in Conforta Normal. It is now in Conforta Normal.
You don't have like Engraver's Old English or something like that there. One of those like.
Let's see. What looks closest to that? Um, we got Impact.
Nah,
No,
nah,
no,
that's
it's
not.
not the same. We have Trebuchet MS. We have Verdana. Times New Roman. We could go for the traditional Times New Roman.
Oh, Courier. What about Courier?
We have Courier New.
Yeah, it works.
I'm going to stick with Comforta.
Okay.
Comforta. Comforta.
Sounds very comfortable.
Anyway, please, if you add something, sign your name so we know who to thank during the show. It doesn't have to be your real name. Just sign it by something that consistent that we can, use to identify, blah, 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 contributed to this question, So anyway, that's that's the most important thing. I'll try to remember to mention it again at the end of the show. URL again is tinyurl.com/ccpred 2026. And so we'll figure out when that is, and we'll get it done. In the meantime, as usual, we'll do like the less serious stuff here at the beginning of the show, and then more newsy stuff towards the end. I've got 2 movies racked up to go. What do you got, Yvonne?
Well, a couple of little tidbits. One is I exercised today for the first time since surgery. Okay. First
Congratulations.
real full workout that I've done since early August. Okay. Because, because of the pain, because trying to figure out whatever, blah, blah, blah. And because I had tried to do a workout sometime in uh, September, and that turned painful before I figured out that I needed surgery, but I did. And so far, so good. Now I did go very, very, very easy. I did
Mm-hmm.
not I did not push myself at all. I just I did power walking. I didn't do any running. Just at a relatively but use the inclines like it did a 12% incline at max, stuff like that. And whatever weights I did not use any weights over 10 pounds. I mean,
Okay.
which I mean that's way lighter than what I normally use. But I was doing that. I avoided certain exercises as well, which I've been told to avoid. Like for example, we're supposed to do use rowing machines, and that's a no, like for now. But everything went fine. So I don't I didn't feel anything untoward. I just try to get to start working out again. I'm gonna go again tomorrow. I'll just go a few times this week now. I got some. I'm using I know that a lot of people like love to hate on unlimited vacation, but I've had this for 8 years, and I can't I don't see how. The only people that hate unlimited vacation, the people that hate, or not the people that I think for the most part hate unlimited vacation, I think are in part people that have trouble taking vacation. Now, I think that
Hmm.
having a finite amount makes them take it. But I
Okay.
never had such an issue with taking my damn vacation. Okay, when it suited me. Uh, so to me, like I marked myself, I'll be out from the 19th until the 7th of January. So I've
Very
marked
good.
myself out for almost 3 fucking weeks. I don't have a problem. If I did that with a limited amount of vacation, I probably would be using up all my vacation. But no, it's pretty pointless for me to be working those days. Part of the time, the company's going to be closed. There is a company shutdown that they do for a few days. The other part it isn't, but it's the two markets where I do business. My almost all of my business both celebrate Christmas, but they also celebrate Three Kings Day. And Three Kings Day is the 6th of January. And Three Kings Day in Puerto Rico when I was growing up was bigger than Christmas. Okay,
Okay.
because you actually got gifts on both. Okay, um, you know, and we were actually for how people leave cookies and milk for Santa. Well, this is supposed to be the arrival of the three kings to Bethlehem
Okay.
for baby
Okay. Yep.
Jesus. Okay, so we left hay. We left overnight. We had to go and pick up hay, and we had to put hay under the tree and water, I guess. But I remember we have to get the hay.
For
Yeah,
like the camels and
for
stuff.
the camels. Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. The camels that the three kings rode on. So we have to leave them hay. That's the important part. And then you got and most of the gifts for the holidays you actually got on Three Kings Day. Okay. Um, I don't know. I think in Puerto Rico it's more tilted now towards Christmas than Three Kings Day was celebrated. But I know in the Dominican Republic they also celebrate it very much as well. So look, a lot of people are just not. There's just with my customers, a lot of them are taking off for those days too. So it doesn't make any sense for me to be doing anything, much of anything anyway. I got
Mm-hmm.
nobody, I got nobody I can talk to. Okay, so I'll take my time off. So you put a point, and then I'll take my regular vacation sometime during the year. I find that most of the people that because I usually will take this time off, I'll take Thanksgiving week off, I'll take the spring break week off, I'll take some summer vacation off. So
Mm-hmm.
and I mean, so that's like what 7 weeks off during the year. I can't do that with a regular vacation allotment.
People have pointed out that unlimited is clearly not unlimited. You couldn't show up on your first day of work ever and say, "I'm taking the next 2 years."
Exactly. Well, yeah, it's not unlimited, but it's not tracked, is my point. Okay, it's not like I don't have to like penny. I don't have to penny count every fucking day of vacation. Or like, for example, hey, look, I have to take. Hey, in November, I took quite a lot of days off because I had surgery as well.
Mm-hmm.
I took about 10 days off. I have to
Right.
be fucking penny pinching my fucking days to take off for shit.
Yeah, because like in a normal place where you have a fixed amount, if you took your 10 days for surgery, that's 10 days
Oh,
you
now
don't
I would
have
have,
for something
and
like
now
this.
oh my god, now I would have to work.
Right.
No, I took my 10 days off, and now I'm taking 3 weeks off, and I have. But here's the one thing, Sam. People are always afraid. Oh my god, my boss are going to be pissed off or whatever. I have never, ever had a boss pissed off because I took vacation in 25
Mm-hmm.
years, ever.
Right.
Well, the main reason is I usually left everything all ready, whatever had to be done. There was nothing like, I made sure that in advance everything's set. There's nothing pending. I notified. I had a backup. Everything is all ready to go. So yeah, so nothing blows up. I will say that the people that usually what happens is that they you do get asshole bosses. Yes, I've seen that. Other people also maybe they had a bad. I know one that I was hearing about. They had a terrible relationship with their boss. So every time they would go like take vacation, the boss was like, "This motherfucker hasn't done anything all year, and now he's taking 2 weeks off." You know,
Right.
usually I see that, but I've had, I've had, I haven't done the count yet, but up until recently, I had more bosses than years that I worked.
Yeah.
Okay, and I think that may still be the case. Okay, all right, at this point. that I've
You know,
had more
I had a spreadsheet for my last job tracking all of
bosses
the
you got.
organizational changes. I didn't update it in like the last year or so, and now I probably won't remember because but I sent myself notes so I could probably reconstruct it. But like the point is, the first half of the 20 years I was at that employer was very stable. Like
Mm.
you know, it would only change like every few years. The second half, you know, it seemed like I could barely ever go 6 months without a change.
Damn,
You know,
that's crazy.
so
Yeah. No, but the one thing is that, but a lot of times my job didn't change, so it's not like I got
right,
reorged into something. It's just that my bosses kept changing and changing and changing. Okay, over that span. You know, you know, so but but think about this: 27 years that I've worked in corporate jobs, I've had more bosses than I've had,
right.
years of work. I've taken vacation like this almost my entire career. Never had I had a boss complain about it.
Right.
Which
Well, I
my
find
point is to people, take your fucking vacation, plan it properly, talk with your boss, take the damn vacation, and no, this thing that people and I've been at companies where it's happened that my peers are like, oh my god, I can't take a vacation. Boss is gonna be take the fucking vacation. They're more scared of it than it's like they're more scared of asking for it than there is an issue with it.
yeah, I can't. There in my entire working career as well, I can't remember a single time where I wanted to take time and it was an issue. Now, obviously, this varies based on the type of job you have, like and whether you know hourly jobs are a bit different. Jobs where you know there are really fixed schedules where certain things are happening at certain times, and then you're not going to want to take time then. You know, so it varies by job as well. But you
But my
know, I've
but let
never
me
had a
tell you
problem either.
something. But let me tell you something. I think I had this conversation with other managers and executives where we kept like not understanding. I had to go into one job and I had to force people to take fucking vacations.
Right.
I literally had to say these guys. I'm like, just fucking go. I don't care if you're sitting around drinking beer for a week. Stop fucking coming to work.
Well, if you remember, way back, you know, my whole random trip thing that I did, let's see, when did I, it went from 1998 to 2003 that I did this
Okay.
thing.
Hmm.
Um, the whole point of it was I had vacation that I was never using. Like, I was at Merrill Lynch at the time, and I had 4 weeks of vacation a year, and I was not taking advantage of it. And so I basically said, I'm going to force myself to take 1 week per quarter and just do something with
Do
it.
something.
And what ended up is my mathematically random trips. You can go to applesmay.com/trip to review them. I haven't taken one since 2003. Uh, would love to start it up again. One of the things I want to do is local ones. Like these are all like, you know, get on a plane and fly somewhere kind of vacations for the most part. There was one I drove to, but like, um, but I figure I could do something like this for day trips, you know,
You know,
and
one thing that I did back then at HP, they didn't have unlimited vacation, but the one thing is that HP didn't allow you to borrow against your vacation time. Okay.
okay,
So you could borrow vacation. Say you wanted to go on vacation and you only had accumulated 15 days, but you wanted to take more. You could go into negative vacation, which I
mm-hmm,
did several times. Okay. All right. I was just like, oh, fuck this. Just no vacation. The downside to that was if you got fired, then you have to pay it back, okay?
right,
Or
okay,
you left the job, that was it. Um, but I kept gaining more vacation days, and the thing is that HP was very generous. So with my years of service, I eventually got to where I had 6 weeks of vacation. Okay. Um,
mm-hmm,
so I didn't. I was never in a I didn't wind up when I left HB. I did not wind up in a situation where I owed vacation, but I got to a point where I had 6 weeks. I had 6 weeks vacation plus holidays. 6 weeks plus holidays. They were very that was good. So anyway, so that was like so. That was my first thing. Another thing.
Oh, another. Go ahead.
Just people have been talking about now affordability and people talking about how uh, many people are finding themselves that money is tight because incomes are stagnant again, and costs, despite whatever the administration wants to tell you, things are more expensive. As a matter of fact, one of the tidbits that came out this week after they said that the inflation report was lower, one of the Fed governors pointed out quickly that, well, there are some things that distorted the data that make it look like inflation is only 2.7, but it's a lot higher.
Okay.
I don't know if you saw that comment. That was by the New York Fed President Williams said some technical factors distorted November CPI reading downward. Okay. So I mean, almost every year, we hand out. We make a list of people. We hand out gift cards to people and stuff or whatever. We're making a Christmas list this year. And I think, but I do think that I do hand out gifts personally, but I haven't had as much of a chance for some people to hand out some stuff. And I made a list this year. And one thing is that I had added normally I added a couple of people to the list that maybe in other years I had forgotten about, certain specific people that I had not. I added it wasn't that many. Like I added the garbage guys. Okay.
Okay.
Because Manu loves the garbage trucks. Okay, so every time that he's here, he visits them, and they've been very graceful, been very nice to him. So I added to give him some stuff. The guy at my cleaners that takes that takes my clothes. The guy actually had a stroke a few months ago while he was driving, and he almost got into an accident. Somebody recognized that it was a stroke when he was parked over the street, and they took him to the hospital and they called 911 to get an ambulance and basically saved his life. So the guy had been out a few weeks, and he's a nice guy. And well, in years past, well, I guess I did give some stuff, but the security guards over at the condo, I'm not the condo president, so I don't authorize the bonuses, but I gave him some money from my own pocket. Okay, all right. So I'm like, well, I don't know if the regime right now, and they deserve to get called a regime right now based on a number of things I don't want to go into right now because I'm in a little bit of a litigation right now, which I don't want to really discuss right now. So I gave them some money, and they were like, and there's this restaurant that I go to for lunch all the time, and the server's always very nice. So I added her to the list. So I just added a couple of people that I know they're used. I mean, we give to the teachers, we give some other stuff, whatever. But I hadn't. So I made a list that we added some people. Okay. And I look, I will admit that I pointed out. I went and I'm like, okay, so what are we giving them? I'm like, well, I went to the bank, got $100 bills. Okay, all right.
Okay.
Instead of a gift card or whatever, it's just not the same. I do think, here's one thing I noticed. Number one, $100 bill instead of a gift card has a lot more emotional impact.
Interesting. Okay.
When they receive it. Don't ask me why. But I know it's just, and listen, about 5 of the people I gave those to almost cried when they got them.
Okay.
Seriously. I mean, like, literally. They choked up when they got them. I don't know. I really do think that this whole thing with affordability right now think in part is why those people choked up, because they have been, these people are
They're
working,
getting squeezed.
they're getting squeezed, they're struggling. It's near the holidays, and I guess somebody they didn't expect to be very generous to them was, and I mean, I almost start crying. I mean, like, look, the server at this restaurant where I go to all the time for lunch, and I'm like, I went, you know, I mean, I gave it to her, and she almost started crying behind the counter, and I was like, oh my god, I'm like, and she's like, I don't think it. A couple of them said, I don't think you understand how much this means to me. I don't think you understand how squeezed I am, how hard it's been to get. I mean, I think at that point, it's just, I, I think, look, I did it. I, well, Sam knows me. I fucking I give away shit all the. I give away, especially to people. I give away money all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So but what I it's just seeing the reaction. I didn't expect that.
Right.
Okay, but I think that is a clear sign of how, man, people are really struggling. Okay, they're really struggling, and how this administration is not taking it seriously. And as a matter of fact, they're trying to do the opposite. They're trying the new strategy, Sam. I don't know if you noticed. What is the new strategy from the administration regarding affordability? Have you seen this? What the new
It's
strategy is?
it's it's all a lie. You're imagining it.
Yes, that's the
Yeah.
new strategy. What are you talking about? This is great. So that was just a little bit of a look. I know it's bad, but it's a little bit more eye-opening when you see people's reactions.
Yeah. Okay. So,
But anyway,
yeah. That I mean, on the one hand, like, it's like, oh yeah, you gave people money and happy, but the fact that it's a stressful thing for people and it is hurting people right now, and it's more worrying than anything else. I mean, you
yes,
look, look, you always have the situation. I mean, look, there's always a significant portion of the population that's under stress no matter what.
that's true.
But it seems like maybe it is bigger than normal.
Yes, it is bigger than normal. I mean, when you look
Right.
at the job numbers, when you look at the uh, how job creation is stagnated, how costs have risen, how wages have stagnated, all of these things all together at once. Um, and I also think that when you have institutionalized lack of empathy, because that's what we
Mm-hmm.
have right now, you have institutionalized lack of empathy combined with a campaign of terror against the population, a significant portion of it, literally.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Very literally. It's not even
You have
a question.
it's not figuratively. We have an institutionalized campaign of terror against significant portions of the population at the same time.
Yes.
These are terrible times.
And by the way, just to be clear, it's the obvious case is uh, is non-European immigrants, but also there's a campaign against trans people. There's a campaign against
Yeah.
there are all kinds of things where there is clear hostility, um, and you could argue for even more groups, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's yes. If you are a member of a community that is being targeted by the administration, it is not a comfortable time at all.
But there's a lot of people, even adjacent to the people that are being targeted, that are suffering because of it. Okay, because they're your relatives, they're your friends, they're all these people, and a lot of people are they're are by extension also being terrorized as well. It's
Mm-hmm.
their parents it's their parents, their cousins, their friends, their coworkers. You know, they're all being targeted by this administration. It's crazy.
You know, this first segment is supposed to be like light and frothy and fun stuff. Good job, Yvonne.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, movies.
Movies.
Okay, number one, from the AFI Top 100 Movies list, blah blah blah, up to number 10 from the 1998 list, which actually moved up to number 5 in the 2007 list. Singing in the Rain from 1952.
Oh my goodness. You know what? I
Another
don't even
musical.
know if I I don't know if I've watched Singing in the Rain.
You know, this is I think this is the first time I'd seen the actual movie. Like I was very familiar with several of the songs,
Of
obviously,
course. No, I
and
mean,
and
I
had and had even seen like the videos of the clip from the
of the
movie where they were
right.
singing the songs.
Yes.
But
Singing
the actual
in
movie,
the rain.
right,
Sing.
running around with the umbrella in the
Number
street, and
exact. Yes.
you,
Yes.
you know,
Ah.
um, and look, the I am a big fan of several of those songs. You know,
Sure.
the Singing in the Rain song itself, "Good Morning" is the other one.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
you know, I remember when when I was a teenager and living in the Washington D.C. area and listening to 50,000 watt AM radio WBZ from Boston.
Mm-hmm.
There was an overnight guy whose name I can't even remember anymore, who was on from like, I don't know, like he couldn't have had an 8 hour show. So it must have been like, 4 in the morning till 8 in the morning. No, he ended at like 5 or something because like the morning news and stuff came on. So he was probably on from like 1 a.m. to like 5 a.m. or some crap like that. But he would end his show with the Good Morning song. And like I, as a teenager in the middle of the night, was be like, oh crap, the sun's about to come up. I probably should have been asleep already. you, you know, and but I remember
I
the song
wonder
with
where your
fondness.
son gets that from as well now, you know?
Yeah, it is not. Yes, it definitely runs in the family. I gather it's also typical for teenagers in general. Lots of teenagers, but anyway, no. I'm still more comfortable up in the middle of the night than I am in the morning. You know, like for recording this show, like it was 10 a.m. Pacific time when we were supposed to start this show, and yeah, I had to set an alarm and force myself to be up in time for 10 a.m. You know, so um, anyway, the I like the songs more than I liked the movie as a movie. Let's just put it that way.
Okay.
Like it
Okay.
was
Okay.
fine. It was fine as a movie. Let me read the beginning of the prompt. The summary from Wikipedia. In 1927, silent film stars Don Lockwood and Lena Lamont attend the premiere of their latest film, The Royal Rascal, produced by Hollywood studio Monumental Pictures. On the red carpet, Don tells the story of his rise to stardom, claiming to have grown up cultured and highly educated. His words are contradicted by flashbacks showing his humble roots as a hoofer, vaudeville musician, and stuntman, alongside his childhood best friend and longtime collaborator, Cosmo Brown, accompanied by the song Fit as a Fiddle. Don also expresses his admiration for Lima, feeding rumors of a secret romance between them. In reality, the rumors are a publicity stunt, and Don barely tolerates Lena, although she believes that he loves her. After the premiere, Don is mobbed by fans and escapes by jumping into a passing car driven by Kathy Selden. Kathy reluctantly gives Don a lift. She claims to be a theater actress and expresses disdain for film acting, particularly Don's hammy performances. Don responds by mocking her acting aspirations, and they part on bad terms. Um, One more paragraph. Don arrives at the after party where Monumental Pictures CEO R.F. Simpson shows a demonstration of a talking picture, though his guests dismiss it as a fad. A group of chorus girls then performs, Kathy among them. All I Do Is Dream of You. Furious at Don's teasing, Kathy attempts to throw a cake at him, but he dodges it and hits Lena instead. In the confusion, Kathy runs away, and obviously, these two characters end up meeting again and intersecting, and it's sort of like there's a romantic comedy aspect of it. I've noticed there's a theme, like there are several of these movies that have been on this list from the 1950s that are about sort of the end of the silent era and the beginning of talkies for movies. This is one of those.
Sure.
It's got a little bit of how they.
What year exactly was it again?
1952.
Okay.
It's got like how these people get, how they get together and write a movie and blah 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 blah, and how does it go? And anyway, I did like the movie. I'm not
okay.
Like I
So
said, I like the song.
Okay.
I'm gonna give it a thumbs up. I liked the songs better than the movie as a movie, but it was still fine. I enjoyed watching it. It was good. I understand why it is on a list like this, but I'm not sure, like, top 10 or even top 5. I'm not sure. The reason it would be in top 10 or top 5 is sort of, it's not that it's objectively really the best 5 or 10 movies of all time. It's because of sort of the historical importance to like the development of movies or something like that. Like it's a well remembered movie. But yeah, I don't know. I would not put it in my like top 10, but it was a fine movie. It was a fine movie. I'll give it the thumbs up.
But can you see why others might put it in the top 10?
Like I said, the only reason that I feel like I could justify it is sort of the
time period,
historical or nostalgic aspects of it. Of like, it was like it. There's a difference between best movie and important movie, and I could see this being in the important movie list. And like, look, they there's a criteria on the AFI list that I'm looking at. They actually do it. One, it has to be feature length, which they define as at least an hour. It has to be American in English, and has to have critical recognition at the time. Has to have won major awards, has to have enduring popularity over time, historical significance, and cultural impact. And I think this one ranks high because of historical significance and cultural impact. It probably hit I'm sure, it won awards and blah, blah, blah. Let's see, scroll down. Critical response, compounded generosity of music, dance, color, spectacle, blah, blah, blah. Yes, it won. It was nominated for Academy Awards, British Awards, Directors Guild, blah, blah, blah.
Okay.
It won a Golden Globe.
So it was a significant. So at that.
Yeah.
Okay. So it got a lot of awards in its time. Okay.
Or it was at least nominated for them. I mean, it's a well-known movie. Like, everyone knows those songs, right? Well, I shouldn't say that. Like, If I asked Alex if he
Yeah,
knew those songs
Alex.
before we watched the movie, he probably did not. Well, no, he might have known the Good Morning song because I used it to wake him up sometimes. So,
Ah,
but
so there you go.
like,
Well,
look,
my son wouldn't know those songs.
you have not played the Good Morning song to wake him up in the morning.
No. Usually, the for to wake him up, the song is "Get Up, Stand Up" by Bob Marley.
I have used that as well. I have used that
Okay,
song for that purpose as well.
so that's been the go-to song to get him to wake up.
And even when I'm not actually using the song, sometimes I will catch myself saying "get up," and
Yep,
then I
stand
immediately
up
follow up with stand up for your rights," or
for your
whatever.
rights.
And
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
yes, and he usually doesn't immediately stand up, even when I'm saying that. I don't know why.
No, no, mine doesn't either. I just start ripping off his clothes to get him ready.
Okay, because that didn't sound good there, Yvonne. You just start ripping off his clothes, but
Ripping off his clothes to put on his school clothes. Okay, you got to take off the shirt. You got to take off the pants. I'm like, if he's not going to start getting ready, I start.
okay, we don't have to call Child Protective Services on you or something.
Nope.
No, okay. Okay. Enough of that. Thumbs up. It was good, but I'm not sure really top 10, but whatever. Okay. Next up, from 2010, a sequel to a 1980 movie. Wall
Oh,
Street Money Never
you know what?
Sleeps.
I just ah,
Okay. Yes. Okay. You got excited about those years before I said the name of the movie. What were you
well,
gonna say?
I mean, you watched it. I mean, had you watched this movie before?
What? No. Like both.
This is the first time you watched either of these movies.
I believe so. Yeah. Like
Okay.
a- and this I watched the sequel in February. The original years previously, probably, but not that long previously. So, but
Okay.
yes, Wall Street Money Never Sleeps from 2010. Um,
The thing is that to me, look, that movie. Well, you give your take first. I mean, you know, what are you, what are your thoughts?
um, I was entertained. I'll give it a thumbs up. It was not an outstanding movie. I think the first one was probably better by a decent amount. I had some believability issues at certain parts of it. Like, come on. And it also, I don't know. I feel like these are movies that perhaps feel more dated than they might otherwise. They are very much a movie of their times, I think. But I think I shouldn't say more dated. It's not in the sense of like this movie doesn't stand the test of time, like sometimes happens. It's more that they very much embody their period, like of when they were from. Like you know the original is a 1980s movie. Like it's like about the 1980s, and it makes sense. It's very time period specific. You have to set it in that time period. I don't know. Let me give the plot thing, and then you can give your thoughts too. I was not, just to be clear, I was not super impressed, but I was not like I didn't feel like it was a waste of my time. I didn't feel like which is like my thumb sideways inside, and I save thumbs down for like I'm tearing my hair out and wish I had never seen this movie, and like am resentful of the fact that I watched it. Thumb sideways is sort of like eh, it's completely nothing. It's not objectionable. This is like I actually, it was an okay, what 133 minutes. That seems a bit long for what this was, but whatever. Okay, plot. First couple paragraphs. In 2001, former corporate raider Gordon Gekko is released from prison after serving time for insider trading and securities fraud that happened in the first movie. By 2008, Gecko has begun promoting his new book, Greed Is Greed Good, warning about a possible 2008 financial crisis. His estranged daughter, Winnie, runs a small nonprofit news website and is dating Jacob Jake Moore, a top prop trader at Keller Zabel Investments, KZI. Jake, a protege of KZI managing director Louis Zabel, has been raising money for Dr. Masters and his fusion research project, which might create abundant clean energy. Jake is also financially assisting his mother, Sylvia, who has quit nursing to speculate in residential real estate. In the early stages, downturn predicted by Gecko, KZI's stock loses more than half its value. Louis Zabel tries to arrange a bailout from KZI from other Wall Street banks, but is blocked by Bretton James, head of rival firm Churchill Swartz Church, which KZI had refused to help during the dot-com bubble years earlier. Kills himself by jumping in front of a subway train. A distraught Jake proposes marriage to Winnie.
By the way, a
who
lot of
accepts.
this is taken certain real events that happened in the 2008 financial crisis and actually just turned out, because there was a firm that almost went down like that didn't get help, that their executive actually did commit suicide in the 2008 financial crisis.
Okay, give me your thoughts on this thing. I like.
Okay, the movie was nowhere nearly as good as the first one. Okay, all right?
Right.
It's just not even close. Okay, it's not even close. Was it a bad movie? No, but it was disappointing. And I will tell you that the biggest mistake that the movie had, the biggest mistake, is that I don't know what the hell happened in Oliver Stone's head. The first movie did not have a happy ending in any way, shape, or form.
Right.
Okay? And this movie,
spoilers coming up,
ended in a happy note that made no sense whatsoever. Given reality, it was bullshit. He turned it into a Hollywood ending.
And it was a rapid turn at the end, too. It looked like everything was going south. It looked like it was heading towards the bad ending that would actually make sense. And then, like, in the last couple minutes, it's like suddenly everything wraps up happy.
Yeah.
Spoiler.
That they really, up to that point, actually, the movie was good. And then they turned it mediocre by just slapping on a standard Hollywood ending.
Right.
That was just a catastrophic mistake.
Yeah, I just as I'm skimming
the good guys
up
win,
and down,
the bad guys lose.
Yes, and I just scrolling up and down the Wikipedia page, I do see mentions of the ending, and the ending sort of screwing things up. Yes. So I'll agree with that. I mean, you can see I'm hemming and hawing between thumbs sideways and thumbs up. It was, sort of.
I will give it a thumb sideways because it wasn't a bad movie up until they completely fucked up the ending.
I can see that. I can see that.
If they would have really made it a really truly sinister ending, then that movie would have been way better received. But
I think so. Yeah, I mean, that's really just, it really is literally like the last 5 minutes of the movie.
Yeah.
Because there is this sudden turnaround.
I'm wondering if somebody just told Oliver Stone and just went and said, no, this isn't going to sell well. Because you get these things, right, where you do a movie, right? And then the producers come in and they do these notes and they do a screening and they look at it and then they get, they get all this, they get all this feedback, and they do this test audience thing, and they go, no, 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 that's terrible. No, 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 you got to change it. No, we need a happy ending. Fuck this shit.
Yeah.
And then you're like, wait, but the other one didn't have a happy ending. Why the fuck you want me to have a happy ending now? Well, because it didn't screen well. The test audience didn't like it.
Yeah, I'll give you the
Plus, also Oliver
last...
Stone, over the years, I mean, he was always kind of fucked up, but now he's been sucking up to Putin and all this other shit stuff and whatever. I don't know what the fuck is in his head, because now he likes dictators and stuff and whatnot. And so I'm like, I maybe that's part of it too.
Let me read I usually don't do this because of spoiler. Let me read the last 2 paragraphs of the plot description to give you an idea how this goes. Jake pieces together all the details of James' dealings, from KZI's collapse through to the unnecessary government bailout of church. He gives the information to Winnie, telling her that revealing it will bring her website publicity and credibility. When Winnie runs the story, James finds himself under intense government scrutiny and is fired by his company's board, who then turn to Gecko's firm for a partnership, which recently posted a $1.1 billion return on investment. Late one night, when Jake fails to make amends with Winnie, Gecko appears, apologizes, and tells them that he has anonymously deposited $100 million into the Fusion research account, convincing her to give both him and Jake another chance. 1 year later, Gecko, Sylvia, and other family and friends attend the first birthday party of Louis, Jake, and Winnie's son. So, like, everything had fallen apart. Gecko had screwed everybody. The Fusion project was destroyed. And then all of a sudden, he shows up and apologizes and gives them $100 million, and everything's good.
It's ridiculous. It's fucking ridiculous. It's ridiculous. These people don't do this in real life.
I don't know. I'm waiting for somebody to show up and give me $100 million.
You're waiting for what's his name? Oh God. I don't even. You see, I'm trying to tune out his name now, so I can't even say. You're waiting for Elon Musk to show up one day and put several $billion, to fight anti-Semitism and go and take down all the right wingers and I'm not. No, that's not happening. And to make amends with his trans daughter and apologize for all the bullshit. Blah blah blah. You know what? Not happening, Sam. Not fucking happening.
Not happening?
No.
I don't know what you're talking about.
No.
Anyway, you've almost convinced me to go thumb sideways. But I don't know. I mean,
it was entertaining, but it was just a stupid. Again, they fucked up the ending.
Yeah. Okay, I buy that. Okay, before we take a break, one quick note. We did have someone pop briefly into the live stream, leave a comment, and then leave again. So I just wanted to.
What's
this was. So this was very early in the show. They were only on for a couple minutes. This is Pete, who is a regular on our Curmudgeon's Corner Slack.
Oh.
He said, I was going to procrastinate today, but I've decided to put it off. He left that comment.
Okay, there you go.
Okay, now with that, let's pop into the first break, and we'll be back and we'll talk more about lovely, serious, amazing things when we come back. Here we go. I wanna be on top of the tree. I wanna be on the floor when I fall off the tree. There we go. Short.
Okay, sweet. Then.
Yes.
All right. So what are we going to start on? I think that we have to start on.
Yes,
Okay.
it's
I
your
just
turn
want
to
to
pick.
make this up. I just want to, because I don't think there is discussion that can be had around this. So I'll just make a brief mention, and then we can talk about the real subject. What I really want to talk about. The stupid Kennedy Center thing is so idiotic. It's not even funny. Okay.
And this
All
is
right.
another thing, like the War Department, the
Yeah.
name is mandated by law,
By law.
but they are changing what they call it and changing the labels on the buildings and all this
Right.
kind of stuff anyway. Just
Right.
cause.
Okay. It's just idiotic. Okay. So,
Yvonne, it's the
hey,
Trump and Kennedy
Sam.
Center now. What are you even talking about?
Uh-huh. Yeah. Okay. As I think it was Kennedy's niece said that she can't wait for 3 years, the fucking moment that he is out of office, that she's going to climb up on a fucking ladder and rip off the fucking name of Donald Trump off, and I can't wait myself either, because I want to cheer that on.
Yes.
Okay. So
And okay, next.
hey Sam, we finally got the Epstein files. How's that going?
Um.
Huh? How's it going?
So, people aren't happy for some reason. It's hard to understand.
No, they aren't.
So they've actually done
It's
two
not an open
tranches now.
book.
They did one on Friday and one on Saturday morning. So there have been more.
It's not an open book.
So there are multiple
Listen, there was
things.
one.
Yes.
Let me give a quote over here that I got on one. There was one filing where there was basically it was in Epstein files 119-page grand jury document entirely redacted. They posted
Yes.
the 119 pages, all everything black, every single word blacked out. Every single word, Sam.
So
What the
here's the
fuck?
look, the summary of what's out there so far. First of all, like something like 95% of everything they released was previously public. So it's just re-releasing stuff that we already knew. Of the 5% or so, maybe even less, that was new stuff, almost all of it was highly redacted. Not all of it was 100% redacted, like you just said, but a lot of it was.
But a lot of it
And
was.
and so people are complaining. Now, apparently, they have 2 additional weeks to explain the redactions because the law says that you can only redact for a very specific list of reasons, and that you have 2 weeks after the release to explain every redaction. So we'll see what happens with that. But from reporting that we've had so far, one of the things they have apparently done is, the law allows for redaction of information related to victims, but the law specifically says you can't redact things for to preserve the reputation of other people beyond victims.
But they did
Uh,
anyway.
and and apparently, what they did was very specifically apply the same stand was defined for victim redactions to people with political exposure.
So Sam, why would they do that?
I don't know, and why? Except Bill Clinton.
Except Bill Clinton.
Yes, and also, of course, they are allowed to
And
redact
all
things
they had
related to
on Bill Clinton, as far as I can tell, is a couple of pictures.
is a hot tub picture.
One of them in a hot tub. One picture of him with Michael Jackson and Diana Ross.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it.
And some kids, which someone found the original of the picture with Michael Jackson, Diana Ross, and the kids, and they're actually Diana Ross's kids and Michael Jackson's kids, in the picture. So
that's it.
that's it. So Yeah, and also, of course, the law said that all of the documents had to be released by Friday, December 19th. And by the estimates I've seen,
They
what they
didn't do that
released
either.
was maybe 10% of the documents. They announced it the morning of that they were going to be spacing out the release over the next few weeks. Um, so
By the way,
they're,
also
they're, they're in clear violation of
database,
the law already.
the searchable database doesn't even work, Sam. Okay,
So
the
apparently,
searchable
by the end,
you can type. It's by the way. First of all, they actually put at the top of it. Oh, the search may not work, Sam. The guy from Midas Touch tried to search for the word Epstein.
yes,
That
and it wasn't
didn't
there.
pop up as a search result.
Now, apparently, over the course of the first 24 hours, the search has improved slightly, but it's still bad. And part of this is, of course, like these are many of these are photographs of documents that have not been properly OCR'd. Like so,
Sam, that doesn't. I'm sorry, but as one that worked in
does
the
this stuff?
industry
Yes, I
of
know.
scanning and OCRing documents, this is not that hard to do. They basically just stalled. They basically just did it on purpose. They did not want the documents to be easily searchable. It is the only reason why they would be posted in this manner.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
That's it.
Um, like I said, apparently when they first launched it, the search was completely broken. By the end of the day, it was working a little bit, but um, but yeah, no, it's they're in clear violation of the law. The question is, what does anybody do about it? They did already, according release a second tranche of stuff. I have not had the time to read anything about the second tranche because, like I said, I woke up like minutes before we started recording this show. Um, yeah, but apparently they did release second tranche, has some transcripts, has some other stuff. One thing I saw that was included was apparently the very first report to law enforcement about Epstein was in 1996 by a
Yep.
photographer who was approached for, first of all, Epstein stole a couple of her pictures that were of her underage relatives. And then apparently Epstein was approaching her, asking her to take more pictures of teenagers. And she says the whole approach was very creepy and
Creepy.
implied, sexualized pictures of the
You
underage. And
know,
she reported him. Wait,
Sam.
wait, let me finish.
It,
Let me finish. She reported him to the
yeah,
police and the FBI, and nothing ever happened of it. And not only that, but for decades now, when she's brought this up, people have denied that she ever made a report and said she was lying.
and it's in the
And
files.
it's in the files. The proof is there. And she was contacted by a reporter and basically broke down crying and was like, finally, they can stop saying I was lying. I was telling the truth all along. And she said, and I only wish that they'd actually done something when I reported
Back
this
then,
because thousands of victims came after that. And apparently there's a number now. The number I've identified, I said thousands, but apparently 1,200 is the number, including
Jesus,
both victims and a few of the victims' relatives who were also redacted.
Jesus
But 1,200.
fucking Christ, 1,200.
1,200.
Fuck. But the one thing I always, the one thing that I was going to mention when you said that he was creepy and whatever. I mean, man, look. Maybe it's just that I already know who Epstein is, but I don't think so. The guy in every picture always looks creepy, man. The guy had just this creepy vibe. There was this one picture. I think this was like a Photoshop, showing him at this Disney. This is a Disney resort restaurant where at
Mm-hmm.
Walt Disney World, where he was in a picture with some guy that they blocked out his face, with Winnie the Pooh and him, and that looks just so fucking creepy. His expression, it's just always his expression. There's just something off the wall creepy about this guy that he gave off. Hi.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, and this brings up one of the themes here is that first of all, the redaction of people who might be politically, exposed or whatever. That's the whole point of this whole exercise is to put those people under scrutiny. Like, and
Yes,
yes, Bill Clinton,
but
Trump,
except
anybody
Clinton.
else. Yeah,
But
the
except
whole
Clinton.
point. Yeah, except Clinton. The this is the whole point is to put it under scrutiny,
Yeah.
and like and
Yes.
some of these men, like a lot of the pictures that have come out are of like just Epstein standing with somebody. Okay, like just because
Who
you
the
stand
fuck
with
is
somebody
that
doesn't mean
person?
but it doesn't necessarily mean you've done something wrong, right?
Right.
um you know
That's the thing about those pictures. A lot of the pictures where he's just standing somewhere, with some guy that doesn't add anything. However, if you're talking about pictures of stuff that is backed up by there's testimony that something happened at this time, and there is a picture of him standing next to this person with a
and you
victim,
have
the maybe they blacked out the victim
and
or
you have a
whatever.
couple teenage girls behind them, yes.
Right.
um
Then yes.
and and look, there was one comment. See if I can find it. But it was by I think Ben Collins, the guy who he's been a journalist for a long time, but he's now also runs the Onion. Um, and he basically, I'm not finding the exact. Oh, here we go. I found it. Ben Collins. Gotta stop looking at the Epstein files in a second because I'm frankly way too skeeved out to keep going. But I will say this: the CSAM, which is child sexual abuse stuff, isn't blacked out nearly enough. While the faces of guys in ties are obscured by Vanta black rectangles the size of the sun.
Well, somebody was equating them to the monoliths on the movie
Well, that
2001.
well, there was one particular picture that was just a beach scene with a black rectangle on it, where presumably some teenage girl was standing. That looked just like that. Yeah, I reposted that as well and gave the all these worlds are yours except Europa. Attempt no landing there quote. Because
Yeah.
it did look like the monolith. The monolith
Yes.
just standing on a beach. Um, but yeah, no. Look, this is one of the things too about this, and the men who are there in pictures that aren't necessarily incriminating in and of themselves as well, is that a big part of this story. Like obviously, we want to know if there are other famous or important or wealthy people who also took part in the abuse directly. However, in addition to that, a big part of the story is just all of the people who knew what was going on and did nothing. Who attended parties, saw stuff happening, did not report it, or just knew, like, incontroversially that, and like one of the themes that we've seen of the documents that have been shown and are unredacted, including that book that came out that birthday book from a few months ago, is that everybody was just joking about the fact that this guy liked young girls. They all knew. They all
Right.
knew stuff was
They
happening.
all knew.
And whether or not they quote unquote participated and actually abused young women themselves, they knew. They knew. And they hung out with this guy anyway, and they didn't report him, and they didn't do anything about it. They knew. And so you may, like, in the grand world of things here, maybe you have like another half dozen people who actually participated directly in the abuse, but it certainly sounds like you have hundreds of people who knew about it and did nothing. And I think
Yeah.
that's a big part of it too. And I don't think that, like, those people should be treated like, you know Oh, it's no big deal. Oh yes, I was at an Epstein party, and yes, there was some teenager getting raped over in the corner, but I didn't rape her. I was just at the party. I was having hors d'oeuvres in the corner, you know, in the other corner, not the corner where the thing was going on. You know,
You know, it's this thing where you had people that knew and still hung out with them regularly. Um, and you know, sometimes there are these social circles where there are certain people that are in it, and Epstein was one that was like was very mixed in those circles. And I have been to like certain situations and events where there is somebody that you're like, this, I don't like this dude. But obviously, I'm not going to their house for a party either.
mm-hmm.
But some people, a lot of people, obviously did. Okay. Um, and there are times that you suspect something about somebody, but you just can't like.
You don't know for sure. They're rumors. You think this, and you
And
give
then
them
there
the
are the
benefit
guys
of the
that knew,
doubt. And
and then right, and then there are the guys that knew, and there was obviously a lot of people in that group that had to know for sure. Especially a lot of the guys that were writing that shit in the fucking birthday book.
right,
Um, I, you recently you had this whole thing with Sean Diddy Combs, who got convicted and sent to jail over all these like parties where he was basically trafficking women.
he was doing the
And
same
but
kind of stuff Epstein was doing.
he
Bottom
was
line,
basically doing the same shit. Bottom line, but there were a number of people uh, that had been saying it out loud, but the same thing, but also not. He wasn't happening, and there were like a number of people, like the one that the most who actually I know he had been saying this for a long time about him, and people hadn't taken it seriously until all of a sudden he got prosecuted. And then, by the way, I don't know if you saw this, that rapper 50 Cent hated Sean Combs for a
okay.
long time. 50 Cent, you don't know what he is. The one song that makes you remember is the song, "Hey, it's your birthday, it's your birthday." That's his song. Okay, by the way, for those of you
Okay.
who don't know these people, so he's pretty famous. So he did a Netflix documentary recently, basically just to go and like torpedo Sean, Sean Diddy Combs. And the one thing is that Combs being such an idiot. Okay, all right, before he got arrested, he had hired a videographer to follow him around, okay, and recorded everything, including what would have been privileged discussions with his attorneys related to the investigation. Okay, all
Uh
right.
huh.
And the thing is that after he had this person follow them around, they refused to pay him for the work. Okay, they didn't pay him. Somehow 50 Cent figured out who the videographer was and whatever and bought the footage. Okay?
Hmm.
And so there is this documentary now on Netflix, which Sean tried to challenge, oh, this is illegal or whatever. And then everybody said, we can completely assure you that we legally obtained this footage. And the whole damn reason it did is because Sean Diddy Combs was such a cheap bastard, and he used to welch on people not paying him. 50 Cent kind of knew that he had this reputation, so he just went and said, "Oh, he didn't pay you? Here, I'll pay you. Give me the footage." So they legally got and so this documentary is completely devastating to him in a way that I think he's trying to appeal like whatever and like say that it was all bullshit or whatever. Hell, that documentary actually shows that there were parts of that he wasn't convicted on. And if they went back to trial on those, yeah, just all you need is a documentary. You could send him up to jail for everything that he was accused of.
Hmm.
It's these guys all operate the same. But look, all these people like Sean Diddy Combs have been trying to raise the alarm for years. 50 Cent have been trying to raise the alarm on him. Nobody listened. Ice Cube said the same thing. There have been people saying it. Look, this guy is bad news. This guy is bad news. And
Well,
even
and
on
apparently
Epstein, there's
in
been like
the
a decade of
case,
investigations and things.
well, in the Diddy case also, like apparently, going to a Diddy party was a well-known thing that people at Hollywood talked about.
Yes, right. A freak out.
Yes. Okay. Go, and you were comparing it back to Epstein. Sorry, I interrupted.
Yeah. So no. So the whole thing is that I mean, this was like it took for whatever the hell reason. It took forever for him to get caught. I mean,
Well,
I think
I don't even think we have to speculate on like, well, what is the reason? I mean, over and over and over again, he was protected. He made deals, and people were
yeah,
like, oh,
yeah,
he's an important famous person. We can't go after him. We'll let him off light. We'll do this. We'll do that. We'll look the other way intentionally, and people in the positions that could have gone after him explicitly
yeah.
did not, because he was connected, and that's the story here that I think, like I said, there are two aspects that are people are looking for out of these files if they weren't redacted completely. One is, are there more perpetrators that we should have gone after? But two is, exactly what are the details of how this guy was protected over the course of
Right.
20 to 30 years? Like, why did we just not nail this guy in 1996, the very first time he was reported?
Right.
Or at the very
Damn
least in the early 2000s, when he was reported again, and he made a sweet deal with the prosecutor who ended up in the first Trump administration.
Right.
And instead, we only got him on the third shot once a Miami Herald reporter dug all this stuff up again and provided a whole bunch of evidence and basically made it impossible to ignore the third time around.
Did the government's work for them. Yes. Basically.
Yes. And I think that's the story people want to get. Like the two stories, like I said. Yeah, if more people were involved in abuse, we obviously want to know that. But beyond that, there was a whole thing protecting this guy for decades. And there was a conspiracy of silence, at the very least, with all these people who knew about this and apparently thought it was fine, or just something to joke and laugh about.
But let me tell you something from personal experience. I find so repeatedly how people will stand by looking at people doing criminal acts and do nothing.
Yeah.
Do nothing. Nothing. They just stand there and do nothing. And I will tell you that 90+% of the people, that's how they react. They do nothing.
Well, and look, it is a hard barrier. Like, if you have something where,
but I'm sorry, it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be, Sam. It shouldn't be 90+% of the fucking people. I mean, I'm sorry, but people sit around and somebody's getting abused, somebody's getting beaten, somebody is a victim is suffering. Like I mentioned this one time. I'm at the gym. Some old guy.
Yeah, and I was going to say there's a difference.
And nobody picks nobody. But it's the same. These are victims. They're hurt. They're dead, and they're just sitting there and they do nothing. Sam, nothing. 90% of the people stand around, see a crime, see somebody get abused, and they do nothing. Why?
Yeah.
I don't get it.
I mean, and look, you can almost understand the situation where you see something and you're not quite sure what's going on, and you're like, maybe I'm misinterpreting what's happening. And even in those cases, by the way, like if you have partial information, your partial information in conjunction with several other people's partial information might make a case, and might prove something. So it might be worth talking. But in the cases where you have witnesses who are unambiguously seeing things, and the rumors are at some of these Epstein parties There literally were large rooms of people milling around, having the hors d'oeuvres, having drinks, and off in one corner, some girl is getting abused. There's no excuse in that kind of scenario for doing anything other than trying to stop it and calling the fucking police.
But Sam, that's people just stand around and they will see whatever the fuck it is and they just do nothing.
Yeah.
Maybe they want to be
so
liked. Maybe they don't want to be. It's too much work. It's too much of a burden. I don't want to piss them off. I don't want to whatever. There's the list of excuses goes on and on and on and on. But unfortunately.
And look, these people are being threatened too. Some of them, like that one photographer who made the report in 1996. Apparently, Epstein specifically told her he would make sure her house was burned down if she followed this up any further.
But again, you know that 90% of these accusations, you know what they are? They're bullshit. What I mean is the threats are bullshit. Those threats are idle threats. These people, the threats are just idle bullshit. But you see, the thing is,
but you know why people are scared.
They operate. Now, I guess, you
got a wealthy, powerful person threatening to do stuff to you. You believe they could do it if they wanted to.
I get it. I get it. No, I don't get it. You know what? No. Listen, I know. I understand it, but I don't get it. Because you know what? During my entire fucking life, I've had, more than once, some wealthy rich asshole that thinks he can get away with everything, where I've just stood in front of the guy and just say, fuck you, try me. Guy that's richer than I, and more money than I do. I'm like, my attitude is fuck you, try me. I don't care. Oh yeah, you're gonna do that? I've had him call me and threaten me with death, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going back and say, oh yeah, go fucking try it, dick shit. Because I know that 90+% of the time, these rich idiots are they just get away with the intimidation because they are rich. And I don't know why I know that so easily, but I know. They're just talking out of their ass. And that's how they do. They get away with intimidating people, saying shit that has no teeth. Why? Because they're rich. That's it. Period. And they'll just scare people. They just scare people to doing what they want.
Well, and that's apparently a big part of this Epstein story over the last 30 years.
Yes. And if people hadn't been so scared about it, this would have been over a long time ago.
Okay. Anything else on Epstein, or shall we take our second break and find something else?
No, as we continue to more happy subjects today. We've just been a barrel of laughs.
Okay. Here comes another break.
I'm looking at the list. Look at the list of happy. Yes. Before we go to break, look at the list of happy things that we got. Bondi Beach shooting, Brown shooting, Rob Reiner. Okay. Oh well, here's some comedy to relief. The Wiles interview.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. The Trump speech. Also, well, that one I already basically talked about, is about the affordability. Hey, Sam, you're doing great, and you're gonna like it. Damn it! This was the gist of the speech, so I just summarized it. Anyway, let's go into a break.
Well, break.
You're supposed to say do. Do. Alex Emsla is awesome. Its videos are fun. And today, once again, we have one of our most loyal subscribers here to tell you how awesome Alex Emsla is.
I'd say on a rate from 1 to 10, Alex Emsla is awesome at I don't know, 37, 82. He's pretty radical. His videos are phenomenal. They're full of creativity, and
they're so funny and exciting to watch.
Wow, what happened to your voice then, Amy? Was that Dad pretending to be you because the audio was distorted when it really wasn't because I told him to?
Yes!
Good job on remembering, Dad. Do.
Okay, we are back. So yes, since you sort of like were like, oh, serious stuff. Oh, Wiles. Let's do the Wiles and Trump stuff, but like widen the aperture a little bit because I think all of these things, the Wiles interview, the Trump speech, hell, even the Kennedy Center stuff that you missed before, and of course the Epstein stuff we just talked about, is all part of like Trump sort of losing control of the situation and everything's sort of falling apart. And I mean, hell, even like demolition of the East Wing and all this kind of stuff, and we see him falling asleep. I mean, just in general, it seems like his ability to control the narrative and impose his will is falling apart rapidly. I mean, we got lame ducks up. We got Republicans jumping ship. We've got these discharge petitions where things are getting passed despite
Holy smoke!
Trump
More
and Johnson.
people jumping ship. I mean, more people quitting. Hey, did you? Oh, we forgot to talk about what's his name? The podcaster idiot at the FBI. What's his name? He also quit the FBI. Bongino.
Oh yeah. Boing, whatever's. Yeah,
whatever
boing.
the fuck his name is. Fuck him. I don't want to pronounce his name right anyway. He's an asshole. Elise Stefanik, she also abruptly no longer running for governor and quitting Congress as well.
Yes.
That's got to be a good sign, right?
Oh, yes.
I mean, a
best.
good sign for the Republicans, I mean. Yeah.
Yeah, the best. Look, congressionally, like, there are a whole bunch of people who are like, we're definitely going to be in the minority in the House this time. Let's get out. Like, that's no fun. Being in the minority is no fun. Look, we still got almost a year. Like, things could happen. Who knows? But it's not going good for the Republicans at the moment.
Well, here's the thing. What, Sam? Okay, but okay, you're saying, hey, things could be better then, right? Okay, tell me what gives them any sign whatsoever that anything that is happening or that could be happening is going to make it better for them at the end of the year. And so think about it. I'm trying to look at the situation. Hey, you got your positives and your negatives. Do you think that the negatives are weighing anything positive that could happen by the end of the year?
No. Anything along those lines is you gambling on something where there's not direct evidence of it now. Like, for instance, maybe Trump is gone and you have J.D. Vance and his agenda is completely different and people
right.
give them a second
exactly.
chance.
So it's stuff that you're basically just like playing the. I mean, anything that you could wish for is basically you're wishing that Trump has a heart attack and J.D. Vance is president. I mean, basically you're. It's their lottery. It's you're playing the lottery basically. That's your hope for November because otherwise,
or maybe the war in Venezuela goes really well, and we have a remarkable victory and everybody's happy.
But you know what? Even those boosts are short-lived. Look, if you remember when
you just have to time it right.
Iraq war. Oh, I see. So we gotta wait until like September or October.
Yeah, that would be perfect.
Okay, so all right, so
we can gradually escalate before then, but the big boom has to be in the fall.
Okay, that's one thing that you could hope for, yeah. Okay, all right. Because by the way, somebody made a clip of like showing Nutlick on TV, talking about the economy repeatedly. And for the last couple of quarters, promising that the Trump boom. Oh no, we don't know this. This is the Biden economy. So you're going to see the boom in Q2 of 2025, in Q3, in Q4, and Q1. Oh wait, it's going to be in Q2 2026. I mean, he has gone on TV and literally just basically just said, wait till next quarter. Every quarter that's happened so far. Yes. That's got to be positive, right?
Yeah, I mean, but yeah, let's look at some of these things specifically. One, there have been I think 3 now discharge petitions that actually like got the requisite number of signatures. How many have we had in
history before? How many have we ever had before?
Well, what I was going to say, the number I heard was the number that we've had in the last 2 months is equal to the number that occurred in the 30 years prior to that.
Holy shit! Oh yeah, that Mike Johnson's got an iron fist on his he's got an iron grip on his on Congress.
Basically, at this point, that taboo has been broken, and everything that is happening in the House is happening that way. With like the Democrats plus 5 to 10 Republicans.
God, Jesus Christ. Basically, he is no longer in charge of the House.
Not effectively. The one thing he was able to do, though, for instance, the latest discharge petition was on those ACA subsidies. And what he did is the second the discharge petition got the last signature it needed, rather than take it up, he let the House go on Christmas vacation early.
Right, he adjourned early.
Yeah, so that they won't pick it up until January when the changes have already gone into effect.
That's got to be politically positive for the Republicans.
Now,
right?
Apparently on this particular issue, it had already been filibustered in the Senate, so it's unclear even if the House did something, whether they could get something through. But it would clearly have momentum coming from the House that way.
Yeah.
So who knows? The Senate might look at it again and blah, blah, blah. But at the very least, we punted that for January.
Listen. They've decided to stick it to everybody. They don't care.
Right.
I mean, there is this group, like we've mentioned before. I was reading something, Pete had actually mentioned this. How our Republicans have been trying to kill Social Security dating back forever, right? Look.
Yep.
And so any of these programs they think are evil. Okay? That is actually the standard Republican belief. Okay, this is not a MAGA belief. This is a Republican belief, because the reality is that when you go out and you poll MAGA people, they love all these programs. Okay, the thing is what their whole thing is. I deserve this program. But not that Latino guy across the street. He doesn't deserve it.
Right.
But I do. That's the whole thing. It's not that they don't believe the program.
This is an ongoing theme going back many, many decades here. Back to cities that closed their public pools rather than desegregate them.
Yeah.
Things like that. It's the same kind of thing. It's like it's absolutely, they're not opposed to the policy in general of helping people with healthcare or whatever. They're opposed to the idea of helping them with healthcare or whatever.
That's right. Yes.
And so if they can't discriminate on that and only help the people they like and not the people they don't like, then they'd rather just not have it at all, even if everybody gets screwed.
Yep, that's the thought. That is the thought of a significant group of people. I'm not going to say all of them, but a significant group of people.
Right.
so this it's that is and that's and so if you're like these guys who have
And
been
by the way,
traditional Republicans
there is a
now,
group there. I just want to say for the record, there is a group who is sort of philosophically opposed to government involvement in those kinds of programs. Period. End of story. And are philosophically consistent about it. And blah blah blah. But that is a very small group. The sort of inconsistencies that we were just talking about is much larger.
but Sam, the thing is that all of this is political suicide. Look, what they are
Yes.
doing, what they are doing is, you know, and somebody explained to Ronald Reagan back in the early '80s where he wanted a tax security and told him, look, back then, and they told him, Ronnie, that is political suicide. Go with tax cuts instead, because otherwise you're not going to make it to a second term.
Mm-hmm. As people of the third rail of American politics, as people have always said. But
Yeah.
at certain points, people decide that it would be nice to not only touch the rail but maybe lick it and see what happens.
Well, they've started doing that now with a lot of things is the problem. And so I mean people are pissed. People are pissed. There is I mean there is just, the sentiment is bad. You know, did you see that in the rally a few weeks ago that Trump went that nobody went to? Okay, doing this affordability things. He did it in Pennsylvania, and there was like so few people. And they went and
Mhm.
they marched up some person to go on stage, supposedly to talk about how this is a lie. And the person went on
Yep.
stage and basically ripped them. Said, "Hey, I just get my paycheck and all my money goes out on bills and I can't afford anything. This is the person they supposedly vetted to go on screen, on stage to go and like support their view, and they just went up there and basically told them they're all full of shit."
Yes. Well, and also, yeah. I mean, this is all part of the look. The Trump and his folks have always been undisciplined, but in the first term, at least he had a few professionals. Now the professionals also slowed him down, so second term he doesn't have those people. He has all incompetence surrounding him, pretty much, and so
Which brings us
people.
back to, you mentioned Wiles. Why in
Oh
the
yes.
world was she talking to this reporter in Vanity Fair, saying all of this, basically shitting on everybody?
11 separate 1 hour interviews over the course of many, many, many months. Speaking apparently freely, talking about, negative opinions of all kinds of other people in the
Did
administration.
I mention that my wife went to get her hair done like some months back? I think I don't remember if I mentioned this specifically, but that she
Okay,
went to
I
get
don't
her hair
remember.
done over here at a salon here in Boca, and that Susie Wiles was getting her hair done at the salon at the same
Oh
time.
no, I do not remember hearing
I,
this.
I might I might have forgotten to mention this. Yeah, but my wife goes, she's over there, and for whatever reason, because I didn't think she lived this far south. Like I know she Palm as a house in Palm Beach. I didn't think it was as far south, but she was over at the hair salon where my wife goes to get her hair done, and she had her hair being done over there. My
Is
wife
that the
did
whole
not go up to
story?
her. I'm like, that's
There
all
was
I
no
got.
there was no confrontation. There was no hair pulling. There was no
No,
like
no,
little
no,
battle.
no, no,
No
no, no,
hair products thrown.
no,
Well,
not
that's
that
a
I'm
shame.
aware of. No. There were just some black, the standard, substandard black SUV caravan and security people.
Okay. Well, apparently the story with the Wiles thing is she was assuming this would be a nice puff piece talking about how wonderful she
How was a photo shoot, Sam?
was. People have been talking about how great this photographer was because he managed to like capture, the incompetence and evilness of these people right in front of their faces, like with their faces. Um, just with pictures that made them look bad that they apparently were happy with. I don't know.
They seem to be thrilled with the pictures. They're all
people even pointing out little things like when they took the picture of the one person in front of a background in one of the rooms in the White House, and how everything was disheveled behind them, like lampshades
Yes.
out of kilter and random cords lying around. Now, I look at my surroundings; everything is disheveled around me. But if I was doing a magazine photo shoot, maybe I'd clean some stuff up. I don't know.
If you were a magazine photo shoot, you'd want it to look like my background. If you look on video, look more like mine instead of yours, basically.
Yeah, it depends. Maybe some organized dishevelness in order to like emphasize my quirky nature or something. But I wouldn't necessarily have the dead plant behind me.
Exactly. You know?
Which is in fact behind me at the moment. And
Yes.
so and it has been for a while. Well, it probably has only been dead a few months, but anyway, yeah, no, and she she said Trump has an alcoholic personality, even though he doesn't drink alcohol. He has an alcoholic personality.
Oh, by the
She
way, he
said,
accuses her father of being an alcoholic, or being
yes,
an alcoholic, even though a whole bunch of people actually have been disputing this. By the way, I
oh,
saw
nice. I hadn't
afterwards.
heard that part.
Yeah.
Well,
There's,
and
for whatever
apparently,
reason.
bottom line, she said negative things about practically everybody in the administration, but they all came and defended her anyway.
Yeah, I
Like,
know.
and including Trump. Trump talked about the alcoholic personality as saying like, well, that's I've said this myself. It's well known. Like, my family has addiction issues, and it's one of the reasons that I don't drink alcohol is because I know if I did those kinds of things, I'd probably be a mess, and that's what she meant.
Okay.
But she
What
also
about
said one other thing she said that I think was important, and I'll be honest, I did not have time to read the actual interview. I read summaries and highlights, but she mentioned that she very much, unlike the people in the first administration, in like the chief of staff position and others who felt their job was to, like most chief of staffs of most presidents, to control access to the president, to make sure he sees the right things, to make sure he's concentrating on the right stuff and not wasting his time, blah, blah, blah. Instead of any of that, she views her job as enabling the president to get whatever the hell he wants whenever he wants it. Period. End of
Yes,
story.
she did say that. Yeah, yes, that's correct.
And
Which is not,
that
which honestly, you know what, is not helpful.
right, and like healthy chief of staff. Like if you talk to previous presidents, of both parties, they will tell you that they actually appreciate having a good chief of staff who is trying to keep them focused in the right areas and making sure they're using efficient use of their time. That's what they want in a chief of staff. They don't want
and
somebody
not do
who's
shit
just
that is, and not just a yes man, because you got to be told when you're doing shit that is going to fuck you up.
yeah. But Trump doesn't believe any of that. Trump wants
No.
100% yes men.
Yes.
And I suppose the occasional
woman.
yes woman.
Yes. Well, actually, a lot of yes women, if you think about it.
Yes.
Especially if they have they pass the double D test.
And there are particular things he wants to answer yes to.
Yes.
Yes. But yeah, okay. What else we got here? We got anything else here? Like his speech also seemed again, I did not watch it. I listened to commentary about it. The commentary basically said
can't watch.
The commentary basically said one first of all, what you said, it's like it's just like, hey, you're all imagining it. It's not true. But he spewed, whenever he said things that were quote unquote facts, they were almost 100% lies. None of them were true. like he said, not only do on inflation, said Biden handed him the worst inflation in the entire history of the country. So he can never just say maybe it was a little higher than we would like. He has to say, and some people are saying it was the very worst ever, whatever. And
no.
No.
Yeah,
no, not even close.
No, not even close, not even remotely close. Not even in the same universe as close. No.
Right. And also just that it reeked of desperation. The whole fact that he was doing the speech at all. And
yes,
you've got people talking about the networks, whether they'll take the next speech he wants to do, because usually these kind of primetime Oval Office speeches that preempt network program, people were saying it was it preempted the season finale of Survivor. I was not even.
They went and they went and they. I mean, there were. Somebody was showing that. Like some years back, Obama went to try to do a primetime speech on immigration. A lot of networks didn't preempt for that.
Right.
And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? They preempted for this shit?
They did. And usually, like, when you
Wow.
have this kind of thing, it's like, we just killed Osama bin Laden, or we invaded a country, or, somebody attacked Pearl Harbor, something along that line, magnitude, right? Or, some major thing that the president is making a significant announcement about, or there's been a national trauma or whatever. Instead, this seemed to be like normal Trump campaign rally crap. And so who knows if they'll take it. And also apparently things even like, he had the teleprompter going really fast and was talking quickly, and people are speculating they don't trust him to do anything else. You mentioned the rallies he's gone with increasing or decreasing attendance. They've also been decreasing coherence. He's always not been great along those. He's always said like, oh, what's the word he uses when he bounces from topic to topic? Anyway, he has a word for it. But as time goes on, the level of incoherence in these things is just increasing. And, people are getting bored of it too. So like, and look, it's hard not to give credence to all the people who are saying, look, this guy's clearly sundowning, or even if it's not technically like dementia, he's clearly doesn't have even the mental capacity he did a few years ago, and which wasn't great even a few years ago.
It was great then, yeah.
And he doesn't care about this stuff, and he's bored, and he doesn't really want to be involved in all this. So they're sort of, they're propping him up and pushing him through the motions, and he's he's showing up to these press conferences and falling asleep. He's standing there not seemingly engaged in what's going on around him in many cases. So this is the speculation that, he's not really in charge of jack shit. Like, you got the other people there who are actually making decisions, different people in different policy areas. But, there are only a few things Donald Trump cares about, and the number has been reducing. Like, he cares about screwing immigrants. He cares about, the ballroom thing. People have been saying like, oh, that's just, they're handing him a toy to be distracted with so that he can like worry about that while other people worry about things that matter.
Dude, but even the whole ballroom thing is a fucking disaster, because it's a disaster, like in general. But here's the reality: he went and he ordered demolishing the east, the east room,
the east wing,
not the east room, east wing. Okay, all right, and they don't have a plan. They still haven't never finished the plans. He already fired the first architect, and he had to hire a second architect to try to do this because they have not agreed on the design of what's going to replace it, and he demolished the fucking thing before he finalized the goddamn design.
Right. Well, and look, this is. I mean, you can use this as an exemplar of everything Donald Trump does. You know, it's half-assed. It's on the fly. He doesn't necessarily know what he's doing. It's all about like the visuals of it without actually caring about substance, without caring about history, obviously. Um, and this and he doesn't care what the collateral damage is. Yeah, but the point of all this is, I think all of this. I think Donald Trump's own mental and physical state is clearly deteriorating over time and seems to be accelerating. And what a shame! Like we ran Biden off the stage for much less, whatever.
Right.
But
way less.
But as he is deteriorating, and as it is more and more clear that his ability to extract retribution on people is lessened, his control over everything is lessened as well. And Republicans are deciding they can be more independent and they can go off and do stuff, and they're not as fearful as they were before. They're still a bit fearful. They're not going completely off in a different direction. But I think we're seeing a couple months ago, even we were talking about cracks. The cracks are getting bigger and bigger and bigger over time in terms of the cohesion of the MAGA coalition. It's breaking apart. We've talked about how these things often don't survive the death of the original personality cult leader. He hasn't died yet, but he's diminishing, and you can already see things start to crack apart as people are trying to position themselves for what comes after.
Look at what's happened to Turning Point USA with the death of Charlie Kirk, okay? All right?
Mm.
I was just seeing how they just had this conference recently, and that basically the conference had devolved into almost open warfare amongst factions at Turning Point USA. In large part because Charlie Kirk, despite being a completely intolerable asshole, he would reject people like Nazis like Nick Fuentes, for example, that were even like more extreme. There are people like that they were completely unacceptable. And as a matter of fact, I was hearing recently how, I mean, he would not even entertain his presence at an event. It was just this guy had a complete, he flat out said this guy is totally unacceptable. Never be with him there. And now at this conference, all of a sudden people are all like, remember, Charlie Kirk was Turning Point USA. Bottom line, it's just kind of cult of personality, just like him. And now all of a sudden, all these people at the conference were like trying to say, "Oh no, Nick is our friend. Nick is our guy. We want him here." And people on stage were basically repeating what Charlie Kirk said, and they were getting booed by the crowd.
Right.
And so this is the kind of, infighting that is happening amongst these people, and is only getting worse and worse. And you saw with MTG, doing the infighting. Now you see with Elise Stefanik going out. Yeah, I mean, it's accelerating right now at this point.
Okay. Shall we wrap it up?
Are we done? Yeah, let's go.
I think so. I think it is time. It is time. Okay. So, curmudgeons-corner.com. Do the thing. Like, go there. See all the ways to contact us. See our archives. See transcripts. Kind of stuff. Buy mugs. I added the damn button to buy a mug. Nobody's bought a mug. I know. Most people listening probably already have a mug. I don't know. But,
But
but
at
if you
least
want,
now the next time somebody wants a mug, they're going to be able to click on it.
there you go. There you go. I added the stupid button because people were complaining there was no button. So I added the button. Buy some damn mugs. Christmas is coming up in a few days. I'm sure a few people would love some additional Curmudgeon's Corner mugs, right? An amazing Christmas present for all. A mug with a picture of Yvonne and I, like staring out at you while you eat your breakfast. Anyway. Also, of course, there's a link to our Patreon.
It doesn't sound that great, to be honest with you.
Yes, this is where the line of like T-shirts and sweaters and hoodies and stuff will be coming on next with like the giant picture of us. Yeah, because I'm sure people will be all over that. Hats, mouse pads. You can do all these things. It's good stuff. Anyway, also our Patreon, where you can give us money at various levels. We will mention you on the show. We will ring a bell. We will send you a postcard. We will send you one of those mugs. And importantly, at $2 a month or more, or if you just ask us, we will invite you to the Curmudgeon's Corner Slack, where Yvonne and I and all kinds of other folks are chatting throughout the week, sharing links, all of that kind of lovely stuff. So Yvonne, what highlight do you have this time for something from the Curmudgeon's Corner Slack that we have not talked about on the show, but is so exciting and so interesting that it will make people feel bad that they are not on the Slack and want to come there more often or come there for the first time?
Okay, so making it more funny, there was a post where asking Grok, you were sitting next, the Elon Musk's AI agent. You were sitting next to Elon Musk.
Wait. You're saying this a little bit wrong. They asked a whole bunch of people this question and then asked Grok to summarize the answers. Go ahead.
Well, okay, so you're sitting next to Elon Musk, only 3 words. What would you say to him? So Grok went and said, based on the top engagements on X, the most popular response is "kill yourself now," 92,000 plus likes in a quote post. Other common ones include "go fuck yourself" and "pass the ketamine."
There you go.
People really love him, huh?
People do, even on X. Come on, like
even on X. This is on X.
What's left on X is like the dregs that didn't leave when it got bad.
Right.
And it's a bunch of Musk sympathizers, and people have compared it to a Nazi bar. Now, admittedly, there are a bunch of like reporters and politicians and stuff still on there because they say like that's where the most people still are. So okay, I understand,
but all the
like,
engagement you're gonna get is this, like
is trash,
basically. Yeah.
And even when they ask about Elon Musk on a place that is full of Elon Musk fans, you get "go fuck yourself" and "kill yourself now."
It started off. Number 1 is "kill yourself now." That was number 1.
Right. Yes. Okay, I will add one from the Slack that I actually just dropped in the Slack in the last 5 minutes.
Apparently, I hadn't gotten to that one yet. That was a good one, yes.
As we have been recording, well, no, a little bit earlier, right before we started recording, they were holding a funeral for the penny at the Lincoln Memorial. Because they have apparently minted the last penny. Donald Trump, by executive order, said pennies are useless. We're not going to do them anymore. They cost more to make than they're worth, which is also true of the nickel, by the way. Apparently, the nickel also costs more to make than it's
You know
worth.
what the problem is with that?
Yes.
You know, by the way, using that argument for a coin, I realize is the dumbest argument against a coin, because the reality is that you don't use the coin once. Okay, the coin.
Right.
You know, okay, so the nickel costs you a little bit more than the actual value of a nickel, but that nickel is used thousands and thousands of times, so it doesn't fucking matter, okay? That the material costs more. It's a medium of exchange, and if you use it many times, it more than you got your return on the stupid investment. It's the dumbest fucking argument against minting a coin.
Well, you know, I'm one who has not used cash of any sort, coins or bills, in a long time. And I'm like, bring it on. Bring on complete electronic currency. It's,
Listen,
you know,
I'm
we don't
fine
need.
with no. But listen, listen. I get what there's arguments for against the penny. I get it. You know, it's like, I mean, fuck, I don't want pennies. I mean, you know, I don't. You know, I really don't want pennies. And you know, but still, but arguing that it's because of the value of it is not a good reason.
Yes. Anyway, yes. I'm ready to be done with coins. Period. I'm ready to be done with bills. Period. Like, you know, and I recognize
like
there's
bills.
some.
As
Yeah,
I
well,
mentioned earlier,
I know
you know,
you got the $100 bills you mentioned earlier, and you know,
and
honestly, I didn't say so while you were talking about it, but my initial reaction was, and honestly, this is true for gift cards too. It's like when I get like cash, if somebody gives me cash, my reaction is, oh crap, now I'm gonna have to figure out how to deposit this shit. Like, because the thought of spending it doesn't even come mind.
But that is not
like,
the kind of reaction
and unfortunately,
but see,
unlike checks,
you're in the minority.
You can deposit a check on the app on your phone. You can't deposit cash that way.
Yep, but the reality is that there is an emotional attachment to the C note. That's all I can say.
Okay.
People really like to get. People really like, especially if you're getting it as a, you know, just getting it out of the blue. People really like getting a C note.
Well, and like, look, gift cards have the same problem. You have to like remember them. You have to do something. You have to put in the number at
but
whatever
the
place
you're going. Is it a gift card many times? If
it's limited to a place,
a store or a place. No,
right.
no, you get $100. You can use it anywhere you want. Okay, no, you got to fucking, like, you know.
No,
yeah, I got a $100 Starbucks card. Now I have to buy $100 worth of Starbucks coffees.
Now, I admit giving a gift. I gave a gift card as recently as the last few days. I bought one for Christmas for somebody, but yeah, like, honestly, it's like, if you want to give something monetary instead of a present, I'm like, you know, Venmo it to me or something. I don't know, like,
but you see,
and even then, I have to move it to my real account to then use it. It's like that, and you know, lots of is behind on this. Lots of countries, it's absolutely normal to do bank account to bank account transfer directly from your phone between people for like small bills. Like, you know, we go to a restaurant and we split the bill. I'll give you $10 with my app. You know, it's much less common here in the U.S. because there are all sorts of services where you can do that. You can do Venmo, you can do Cash App, you can do Apple Cash, you can do all kinds of things, but they're all divergent, and everybody has to set up the individual things, as opposed to just being automatic with everybody's bank account.
Well, the one that does work that way, which is Zeely works
Zelle?
bank to bank. I mean,
it's Zeely?
Yeah.
I always thought it was Zelle. I've only seen it written. You know, but even then,
I've heard it both ways.
It's a pain. Like, I've paid people with Zelle. That's also a pain. It's not just like as easy as it could be. I don't know. It's not just built in automatically to everything, you know.
Well, true. Yeah. But if I need to send, but like I just did something recently where I purchased, somebody asked me to go to a store to pick up. I'll tell you, here's what I have a friend who their son loves Legos. Okay.
Okay. So you had to go to a Lego store.
So the thing is that this was a very okay. So there is a Titanic
Yeah, I've
Lego
seen
set.
this.
Something apparently this is a very rare set.
This is
Okay.
it's one of the huge ones. Yeah.
Yes, it's 10,000 pieces. Okay, all right.
Yes.
And their son is a Lego fanatic, and he will build those massive ones. And apparently, it's very hard to get. Couldn't find online anywhere. But they called the Lego store that's like here near me, and they had it. Okay, so they said, for the love of God, go over there and get it. Well, I had to go. Well, I had to buy it. Okay, obviously, they send me the money later. They wouldn't take credit card over phone, whatever. They said, no, no, no. Whoever comes here has to pay for it. We'll hold it until a few hours. Okay, so I went over there or whatever and got it. And so they paid me via Zelle in the morning, came in like right away. But so
Yeah.
that's the way they gave me the money back. It's like 2 seconds, boom, it's like right into my bank account.
Anyway, the funeral for the penny at the Lincoln Memorial
is going right now, and the Lincolns have brought the coffin.
Yeah, if you click through on that link, I sent it to Curmudgeon's Corner Slack. There's a video. There are a bunch of people dressed as Abraham Lincoln carrying a coffin down the steps of the Lincoln Memorial.
I love these guys. These guys are great. I love this. This is fantastic. Honestly, I would have liked to have been there.
This is the kind of cheesy thing that I actually probably would appreciate too.
Yes. Yes.
It's just a little bit silly, a little bit stupid. But on the other hand, you are commemorating the penny has been a part of American life for the entire history of the country, almost. And and it's going away. Now we'll still see pennies for years, forever.
Right. They're not removing them from circulation. They're just not minting new ones.
Yes. And they'll slowly become rarer and rarer, and then eventually only collectors will have them. But still, it's a moment to commemorate. So I can see these people doing this, and the whole bunch of people dressed up as Lincoln with the black suit and the top hat carrying the coffin. Okay, that is peak something. Awesome. I don't know what it is peak something. Yes. What it is peak of, but it's peak something.
It's peak something, and it's great.
So anyway. Okay, with that, I think we're done. Thank you, everybody, for joining us yet again. Apparently, Yvonne and I have some discussion to do. The whatchamacallit prediction show will either be next week or the week after, depending on scheduling. Either way, it will be recorded before the 31st, or at the latest on the 31st, UTC.
At the latest.
At the latest. Recorded on the 31st UTC, depending on the exact timing. It'll be either next week's show or the week after. And so again, for those of you who want to, where did I put the stupid thing? I get the link up. It's tinyurl.com/ccpred2026. Please come in there, add things for us to predict in all of these categories. Again, the rules on that are they need to be predictions for calendar year 2026. So not like some, we will land people on Mars in 2031 or something. Nothing like that, because it has to be something.
You could try to predict that we will land people in 2026 in Mars. Yes,
you could. It'll be a special one shot just for Elon. No. Yeah. But it has to be something that the first week of 2027, we will be able to objectively determine the truth or false. The truth or false? The truth or falseness? The truthiness? I don't know. Like, whatever. We will need to be able to... Yes, we will need to be able to determine objectively... Yes, falsiness. We will... falsies. We will be able to determine objectively whether it's true or false the first week of 2027. So that is the criteria. Add stuff. We've got all kinds of categories. We've got all kinds of subcategories. The document is still otherwise blank. If nobody fills in stuff, I am going to fill in stuff based on my own preferences and things we've asked in previous years. But if we have questions from our audience, those are preferred, and those will be what we start with. So again, tinyurl.com/ccpred2026. And as Yvonne helpfully clarified, the pred is for predictions, not for predator.
Correct.
So that's a movie I also haven't seen.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, I've never seen Predator or any of the sequels. So
That's a good movie. The first one.
anyway, anyway, we are done here. Thanks everybody. Have a great week. We'll talk to you next time. The next show, whether it's a prediction show or not, will be out after the Christmas holiday. So if for anybody who celebrates Merry Christmas, for people who celebrate other winter holidays, Happy Hanukkah, happy whatever other winter holidays you have, Kwanzaa, I don't know, solstice, happy whatever, happy winter break, regardless of what it's
Festivus.
for. Festivus for the rest of us.
Yes.
I've also never watched all of Seinfeld. Seen Seinfeld episodes, obviously, but I've never like systematically watched the whole show. But anyway,
I don't know.
thanks.
I don't know if I've watched every episode, but I gotta guess I've watched most of them.
Okay, yeah, I have watched maybe a handful. I have not watched.
Okay.
I couldn't even say a majority. Like, no, I've watched a handful of Seinfeld episodes. I was never a regular watcher of that show, but I mean, I knew enough to know what Festivus is.
Yes.
I mean that's kind of grown beyond the show. I mean, some people actually do that at this point, right?
I mean, every day at the White House seems to be like a Festivus. It's the airing of grievances.
There you go. Okay, well, happy Festivus, everybody, and we'll talk to you next week. Goodbye.
Bye.
Okay, and with that, we are done. Thank you, Yvonne. Get back to me right away with possibilities for scheduling the next 3 weeks.
I gotta
Yeah.
tell you that it may be that we have to do it on the morning of the 30th, or sometime in the during the day of
Okay.
the 31st, because I'm going to
That's-
Disney from the 26th to the 30th.
Okay, whatever it is, text me like the options, and then we'll pick dates. Okay. Okay.
Sounds good.
We are
Okay.
okay. Yeah, I'm hitting stop. Here we go.